What is going on, guys? So here's part 3 of the Laravel and iOS. So we've already finished the API. Let's make sure we actually have the project open. I don't think I have it up. Why is it searching? VS Code. I don't think I have the project open. So let me just make sure that it's open. There we go. Now let me make sure that the server is actually on. Yep, and I do have MAMP open. Okay, so we're gonna open Postman. And what we're going to do is, let's just make sure everything's working. So, okay, everything's working. And because we added everything inside of Postman, we can actually like minimize this. We don't have to look at the code anymore. We could just focus on looking at all the endpoints we created. So let's go ahead and open Xcode and let's start a new project. So the new project's gonna be, let me just drag that over here. And it's gonna be a single view application. And let's just name this Laravel Chat. Swift, storyboard, yep. I'll save it in my desktop for now. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna be using CocoaPods, a couple CocoaPods. So we're actually gonna have to close this once we save it. So let's open the terminal. Let's not update that now. Now let's go inside of the project. So I saved it inside my desktop. And the project is called Laravel Chat. Okay, so now that we're here, we're gonna do pod init to initialize the pod and make a pod file. Now we're gonna go inside of the pod file. So pod file. And in here, we're gonna put the two pods that we're gonna be using. So we're gonna be using, let me just drag it up. We are going to be using Amplifier to make HTTP requests. And we're also going to be using, let me just copy this one. Here it is. And we're going to be using Swifty JSON. So let's go ahead and search for Swifty JSON. And let's search for wrong button. I don't want to print the page. There we go. So for iOS 8 and up, copy that, paste it in there. And then we're just going to save this file. So Control X and then Y. Then we do pod install. All right, so it's saying, cannot do it. So what we're gonna try doing is, let's just remove the version out of the amplifier. It's giving us some problems. So let's just remove the version. That should work. Okay, there we go. So now that that's working, we can minimize this. Let's put this down for a second. And let's just open, it should make a workspace, as you guys see right there. So let's open the workspace. So it's going to be Laravel chat dot workspace. Okay, now that we're here, let's go ahead and do a couple things. So what we're going to do is we are going to test the API first. So the way that we test the API is we're going to create an, let's change this up. We're going to create a new folder, name it API. Inside of here, we are going to create a new Swift file, name it API. And let's import ammo file, ammo, and Swifty JSON. And then we're going to create a class, call it API. And in here is where we're gonna write the connection between Laravel, like all the endpoints and all the API requests basically. And we're gonna get those from Postman. So let's open up Postman and let's just do the first one. Let's just say, you know, registering a user. So what we're gonna do in here, let's start off by creating a base URL. So we're just gonna name this base. It's gonna be a constant, so I made it a let because this doesn't really change. And the base URL is basically this part. This part is included on every URL. So let's just make this the base URL. Let's just put that, and then we can create a function now. So let's just name it function register. And for this function, it's going to take a couple parameters. So params, and this is going to be a string and string. So basically saying the key is going to be a string and the value is going to be a string. If you look at the body, you see, so it's a key and then value. So they're both just going to be strings. That's basically what I'm saying. And at the end, I want to do a callback. That way I can get the JSON back. If you don't know how to use callbacks, when we actually call this function, it's definitely going to make sense. So the callback we want back is going to be a JSON format. And I'm looking at an example that I had previously. I always forget how to type this part. Okay, yep, so it's going to be a JSON format. It's going to be a callback. And all we have to do now is create the full URL, which is going to be base plus, and then in here, we're going to say /register. If you look at Postman, it's the other end of the URL. So there's the full URL. Next thing we need to do is create some headers. And these headers are going to be of type HTTP headers. And this is again just going to be a key and value of string. So the key is going to be accept, and the value is going to be, oh, that's PHP right there. Application /JSON. Alrighty, so once we have the URL and the header, we can go ahead and actually make the request, which is just going to be amplifier request, and in here we put the URL. The method is going to be a post. Parameters will be the parameters that we get, and the headers will be the headers that we just set right now. After making this request, the response is going to be JSON. There it is. And in here, we're just going to say callback. Basically, give me back the whatever we get from the server, the response. I'm going to cast it as JSON, and in here, I'm going to say response.value as any. Let's go ahead and build this. And well, while that's building, we're gonna go here and we're just gonna actually test this. Easy way for us to test this is just we're gonna say API, let API equals API, which is that class, API.register, and in the parameters, let's say we just pass, let's say we just pass name. So name is going to equal Mac, and here's the callback part. So it's basically, it's when I call this, it's going to give me the response back in here wherever I call it. And I'm gonna name whatever it gives me back just JSON. I'm also gonna import Swifty JSON. And for now, I'm just gonna print whatever I get back from the server. I should get an error back because I'm not passing everything back. But let's just see. So let's go ahead and run this. Now let's see what we get back. So basically, while this is loading up, quick recap what's happening is we have this API class, and it's the same thing as Postman in a way. So we're just copying the URL that we have to hit, which our Laravel app is hosting. We created all these endpoints in Laravel. If you haven't seen that, it's part 1 and part 2. And basically, we're just looking at the body, what we have to pass, and these parameters that we're passing are going to be the way that we're passing them, and here is right here. Now, yeah, I'm not passing all the ones that I need. I'm just doing this so I can test it. So there you go. My app did finish running. So let's look over here, and okay, let's see what we get. So we're getting, okay, so this error is because we need to actually, this is not an HTTPS, so we need to write some stuff in our info to allow this. Okay, so let me go ahead and paste that. There it is here. And here's basically what you have to type. So app transport security settings. Then you need to write exception domains and allow loads to yes. And in here you have to say the domain. It's going to be localhost. Is it in a certain port? Port 8000. I think it's fine. I think you just have to say localhost. And yep, there we go. Let's go ahead and run this again. So make sure you guys copy that. And there you go. Look what we get back. We get saying we need to send the email and the password field. So the API is working for that. What we're going to quickly do is, so we don't have to look at Postman as much, we're just going to create all the APIs. So we could go ahead and duplicate this, name this login, change this to login, and that one is done now. So let's log in, creating a chat, should be similar. For all the other ones, we have to actually change the headers because we have to include this bear token that we get. Not too hard. So what we're gonna do is just copy this, and this one's for creating a chat. So we're gonna name it create chat. Create chat, and like I said, the headers are gonna be different now. Let me just quickly see something. I just did something like this: authentication, bear token, and then here I pass the token. There's many ways we can pass the token. I'm trying to see which one's the best one. We can go ahead and, haven't really done it this way, but let's just try it. So we're gonna create a variable called token, and then when we initialize, we can pass this token variable. It's okay if it's empty if we don't pass it, and we're gonna say string, and we're gonna say self.token equals token, the token that we get. And then in here, yep, that should already be there, create chat. And for creating a chat, we have to pass, this one's actually create a chat. It's just chat, so let's go ahead and add that. There it is. Let's do the next one now. The next one is this one, which is sending a message inside of a chat. So send message, and in here it's going to be chat, the chat ID, and then send. So in here it's gonna be ID and send. This one needs a bit more parameters, so we're gonna add one more called ID, which is gonna be an integer. And that's not how you do it. It should be like this. There we go. So ID goes in there. Let's do the next one. So we already did all these. Next one is getting a chat. So this one gets all of my chats that I belong. Let's copy this, name this get chats. This one I actually don't have to pass anything, because I'm just gonna be getting the chat based on the token, which is gonna give me my user ID, which I can delete all this. This is gonna be a get. All these are posts, right? Send a message, create a chat. Yeah, all those should be post. For parameters, we're not really gonna pass parameters, and that all looks good now. Last one will be getting all the messages inside of a chat. It's gonna be very similar to this one. So let's just copy this one, paste it here, get chat messages with the chat ID. Again, to get, don't really have to pass anything in the body. So I'm gonna remove parameters here and change this to a get. And here should be messages. All right, I believe that's what it is. Yep. So there we go. We have already created all of the endpoints needed. We added them inside of the project. Next thing we want to do is, let's just quickly, how much time do we have? Yeah, we can do this real quick. So we can quickly just create a register screen. Let's just say that. I'm going to do a very basic design, guys. But this is just to show you how everything connects. So let's go ahead and create a text field. And for registering, I need name, email, and password. So, okay, let's just go ahead and have all those fields. So in here, let me just make the placeholder saying name. Copy this a couple more times. And here, let's just have email. And in this one, password. And let me drag in a button now. And call it register. Sweet. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is just going to create a folder quickly and name it controllers. I'm going to drag in the view controller. So the view controller, I'm going to go ahead and rename this to register VC. I'm going to rename it again over here to register VC. I'm going to copy the name and paste it in here. There we go. Now the next thing we have to do is link all these things in the view into that new controller. Easy. We just have to click this plus sign right here and go inside of that controller. Oh, missed it. And what we have to do is for each field, we hold control and create an outlet for it. So I'm going to name it name field. And this one's going to be email field. Pass field. And for the button, it's not going to be an outlet, it's going to be an action. So we drag it down here and you can see the connection is an action. And we're going to just name this login click. Or it's actually the register. Alrighty, so in here, we can go ahead and close this now. And now that we're in here, what we want to do is, let's just do basic login. So we're gonna call the API. We can initialize the API on top. Let's just initialize it on top. I'm gonna copy this, paste it on here. And what we're gonna actually do first is let's just do a basic if statement. So if name field dot text is empty, or if the email field dot text is empty, because remember they all need to be required, so we could just check in the front end as well. If text is empty, so if any of these are empty, display something else. We're going to be doing this stuff right here. Okay, so I think I have an error somewhere. Okay, let's see what it is. Okay, so it wants me to add the nil for all of them. Yeah, let's just do no. I'm trying to get the same thing I had over here. So not equals no. There we go. Okay, so, and then what we're gonna do is print saying fill out all the fields. And if it does work, if we did fill out everything, all we have to do is fill in the blanks now. So in here, for the name, it's gonna be name field dot text. And we know it's not empty because it passed the if statement. Next part is we need email. And what I mean is fill in the blanks, we're filling is basically these right here, the body. And then email, so that would be, email.text. And the next thing is password, which should be password.text. This explanation point, what it does is just unwraps the variable. It's like confirming like, hey, it's not empty. Don't worry about it. It's not no. Because if it is no, it is going to crash. So we go ahead and test this. So it all looks good. Let's actually run our app and see how it works. Let's go ahead and test this. Let it run. And let's just fill in the blanks with random stuff. So, and I forgot, there's actually an error currently with the latest Xcode simulators where the keyboard freezes it. It's so weird. Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know why that just keeps happening for me. What we can try doing is, let's see if it lets me type without the keyboard. I think I can. Yeah, no, there's a problem with the simulator. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna try to fix that for the next part. This should work for you guys. But basically, yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick recap. We did all the connections to the API and in here, and it's as simple as just calling it. So our register is just confirming that we don't have anything empty. If we do, just print it out in the console for now. And if we don't have anything empty, we went ahead and did this. I'm gonna go ahead and try to fix this, and start working on the next part. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you guys learn anything new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you guys.